If I have to help your attorney, there is no coupon deal. What do I mean by that? Well, let me tell you a story. I want to tell you a story about Ed and Ed's stinky mess that he had. It's not Ed's fault. He got in a bad situation. So Ed owned 2 adjacent lots and this is in the Bay Area. So it's in an older part of town. He owned 2 adjacent lots. So one of those was developed. It had a house on it, house and garage, single family home. The other lot was vacant. And both of these lots were on the same private road. Okay, so they were on this little private lane. And Ed had easement rights over the private road to get into both of the parcels. And the neighbor, Ed's neighbor, for some unknown reason, decided one day to just start building improvements in the road. And now you're probably wondering, why would he do that? Well, this was at the very end of the road, and it really wasn't used. And because Ed's parcel that was at the end of the road, very end of the road, was vacant, there was nobody driving in and out of this part of the road. So even though Ed had a legal right to do that, he wasn't practically doing it because the lot hadn't been developed yet. So the neighbor, he wanted some extra space, and so he starts building stuff in the road. So obviously Ed gets concerned. He hires a land attorney that we work regularly with, and the attorney called and asked me some initial questions about the situation, had me look at some deeds, and decided to submit a claim to Ed's title insurance company, which they did, and the title insurance company denied coverage. A lot of people don't realize that I tell people a lot of title insurance policies, title insurance coverages, I tell them it's like going outside in a blizzard in a bikini. Probably doesn't cover as much as you think or as much as you need. I don't blame title companies for that. I think people misunderstand title insurance and its purpose. I talk about that in some other videos. But right or wrong, Ed's title insurance company denied him coverage. So, land attorney reaches out for some help. We work with this land attorney regularly. He's a good friend of ours. And he said, hey, I need some help. Title company denied coverage. I'm not 100% sure what to do next. I need some ideas. I know you deal with this kind of stuff a lot. Can you look at this? We need to have a brainstorming session. So we did that. We took a look at the insurance coverage. We brainstormed with the attorney a little bit about what could be done. We read through the title company's denial. We helped the attorney figure out what we thought was legit and what we thought was bogus. There was a little bit of both. We helped him prepare for the suit against the neighbor. And this is just, at this point I'm not charging the client. I wouldn't normally do that, but this land attorney is a good friend of ours. We're just trying to help him out. This was a tough case he had. So we finally get to the point where the land attorney says, hey, you're giving me a lot of help. The client needs to get you under contract. You need to get paid for some of your time. He says, this is going to go to court. We're either going to court with the title company or we're going to court with the neighbor or both. And he said, I need to have you under contract. I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need you as an expert witness. So we prepared a proposal to help the attorney finish prepping for the lawsuit. The client, there were typographic errors in his deeds. That's part of the reason why the title company was denying coverage. So he needed us to fix his deeds, help him get corrected deeds filed. We needed to review a chain of title. There were issues that were coming up that we're going to have to get resolved by reviewing a chain of title. So he needed help to get a chain of title and to review it and understand it. The client had been giving the attorney some really crude napkin sketches of where these improvements were at and where they were at related to the property line, but nobody really knew. These parcels hadn't been surveyed. So the attorney, I told the attorney and the landowner, hey, if you're going to go to court, we need to get out there. We need to do a real boundary survey. We need to do a topographic survey to figure out where all this stuff is at, how it really relates to the property line. We need to prepare you some professional exhibits to take to court. So we gave him a proposal to do all that work. And that proposal didn't include the cost for my time up to that point. It was just from this point forward what it's going to take to get this done. So Ed didn't like my proposal. He was pretty upset. He said, you're way too expensive. And here's what he told me. He said, I priced a boundary survey on these 2 parcels a couple years ago, year or 2 ago. He said the surveyor said that he would do it for $3,500. And I'll just tell you that my price was significantly higher than that. $3,500 was a fraction of what I had proposed. What I had proposed to help Ed and his land attorney. And so Ed said, look, I'm willing to pay you a little more than $3,500 because Dan said you're really good and you've been very helpful in the process so far, but I need a detailed cost breakdown. I need to know how much time you're spending on every one of these tasks, and I need to know what your hourly rates are for every person that's going to be working on the job, and you've got to lower your price or I'm going to have to find somebody else. So what do you think I did? What would you do in that situation if you were a land surveyor? Well, I wrote Ed, I called my attorney and I said, hey, I'm not going to give your client the coupon deal here. I feel bad for him. He's in a bad situation. It's not his fault. The neighbor's building the easement, but he should have got a survey before he bought, and he didn't. And there's problems, as there frequently is. And I don't get paid to survey the property when there's a sale. Most of the time, I get paid to come in and fix stuff after there's a problem. And if you wait till there's a problem, you have to pay for that. Now there's a lawsuit. My work is going to be scrutinized by the opposing attorney. And this thing was a mess. It's just a mess all over the place. So I told the attorney, I said, hey, this is a courtesy phone call. You're a good client. We appreciate your work. I'm not doing this for $3,500 basically is what I told the attorney. The attorney said, totally understand. I'm going to back you up with the client. I'm not taking this to court with a $3,500 survey either. And so we let Ed know. We told him, we said, hey, Ed, appreciate why you feel the way you do, but first of all, we're not going to do this for $3,500. We don't think that's even close to being a reasonable price for everything you need. And we're not giving you a detailed cost breakdown. We don't do that. I'm going to do another video that explains why, but there's all kinds of things that we have to think about when we provide pricing. It's not just the labor, and I'm not going to spend time giving somebody like Ed that kind of breakdown when he's just going to go find the cheapest price he can find. If I did that with every client, I would never get any real work done. So what are the lessons? What are the lessons for clients, either for if you're a landowner or a land attorney or somebody that works in commercial real estate? What do you learn from this story? And what are the lessons for real estate consultants, land surveyors, property appraisers, architects, civil engineers, real estate brokers? All right, so here's my lessons for clients. You think about Ed's story. You pay, when you're going to hire me in a situation like this, most situations, you're paying for my experience, my advice. So experience, my advice, and my expertise. You're not just paying for my labor. It's not like it's not like a lot of other tasks where you're just paying for muscle, right? You're paying for my brains. So you need to remember that. Secondly, a good boundary surveyor is hard to find. One of the things I had to explain to Ed was, he's going to call whatever, a half a dozen surveyors in his area to try and find a cheaper price. He's going to mention lawsuit, and 75% of those guys are going to run the other direction because most surveyors don't like dealing with lawyers, and they don't do good enough work to have their surveys attacked in court, and we do. That's why I'm not afraid of it. Good boundary surveyors. A good boundary surveyor that's willing to have his work presented in a court case, those are few and far between. The other thing is most surveyors don't want to clean up a mess like this. Ed needs all kinds of stuff to get the title to his property cleaned up. He needs a chain of title review. He needs corrective deeds. It's way more than just doing a boundary survey and setting a couple corners. And I have friends, other surveyors they tell me, don't call me if it's complicated. I want simple and clean. I want to get in there and get out. And they call me with hard stuff. They say, this is a mess. I don't want to deal with it. And I work for those people. I clean messes up. That's part of what we're good at here. But I don't do it for free most of the time. Most of the time I get paid for that because I'm running a business. The other lesson is don't go to court with a napkin sketch. It's not going to help you. I think part of the reason Chuck's initial request for coverage to the title company got denied is because they were sending in napkin sketches, and I think the title officer was just confused about what was going on, and so he should have hired me sooner. I could have prepared a professional exhibit, helped the attorney draft the request for coverage, And I'm not saying it would have made a difference, but it might have. There's a good chance that it would have made a difference. And you know, if they go ahead and go to court and they don't hire me and they don't find another good surveyor and they go to court with a napkin sketch, there's a good chance that that Ed's going to lose. He's going to lose his case. So don't do that. If you're in a legal dispute over real property, don't go to court with a napkin sketch. Hire a professional. So what about lessons for real estate consultants? I got three lessons for you. So if you're a surveyor or an appraiser or a land title professional or an architect or engineer, you know, what do you learn from this story? One thing is specialize, you know, specialize, and then once you specialize, know the value of your speciality. You know, I don't build skyscrapers. I don't survey lakes and oceans. I don't do construction staking much at all. You know, I deal with land use planning, boundary survey, and land title issues, and I clean up problems. That's what I'm good at. I work well with attorneys. You know, I work well with title companies. Yeah, you know, we're good at it here. My team's good at it. It's all we do, and you know, I charge people for that. And I'm not. You know, I think our rates are very affordable. I think we provide good value. I'm not embarrassed to be good at something and to charge a reasonable fee for it. And you shouldn't be embarrassed either. Don't just charge for your labor. You know, if you're, you know, employee X is $40 an hour, so I'm going to charge $45 an hour. Like that, yeah, that's not good business practice. There's way more that goes into what you do than just your labor. There's all kinds of business costs, plus there's all kinds of investment that you've made in equipment, software, hardware, intellectual knowledge, expertise. We'll talk about that in a different video, but don't just charge for your labor. You know, you need to, you know, part of the problem that I was having with Ed is he just like, well, how many hours is it times whatever you're paying that person, that's what it should cost. No, Ed, that's not what it should cost. That's the floor, that's the starting point. Like, I at least have to cover wages, right? But there's so much more that has to get covered if you're dealing with a real business and a real professional. And then finally, the last lesson, it's related. Don't be treated like a commodity. You know, you're not hot swappable. You know, we have this expression in surveying is hot swappable means you can take out a battery and put a battery in and the equipment you're using won't shut down. We say the batteries are hot swappable. You know, if you're a specialist and you're really good at what you do in real estate's complicated, you're not hot swappable. You know, Ed's not going to just run out there and find another surveyor that he can just drop in that's going to be able to take care of all this like my team would. He's just not. Most surveyors don't want to do it, or they can't do it, even if they want to. So, and you know, maybe Ed will figure that out after he makes a few phone calls and he'll call me back. I don't know, but just remember, if you're good at what you do in real estate, you are not hot swappable. You are not a commodity. Somebody tries to take you out as a battery and plug somebody else in, all kinds of bad stuff is going to happen. So don't forget that. So there you go. If I have to help your land attorney figure out how to clean up your mess, you're not getting the coupon deal, right? That takes some brains, takes a special kind of boundary surveyor, takes a special kind of land planner. I don't mind working with attorneys. We love it. And I've got great attorneys that I love working with, but that's a special skill, and it's not free. That expertise, that expertise does not come without a price. So, and it's a reasonable price, but you have to pay.